So moving on to the 285-pound class, we have for Purdue, Tyler Kral and Garrett Goldman for Indiana. Goldman, the redshirt senior, the only senior in the starting lineup today.
Goldman is a senior, 13
Bloomington, Indiana native. He'll get a quick takedown on Kral.
3-2 in the Big Ten.
Kral, the redshirt junior from Crown Point, Indiana, coming into this match 8-11, 2-4 in duels. Garrett Goldman coming in 13-11.
And like we mentioned earlier, Garrett Goldman took down Tyler Kral last year, and he's going to look to do that again here today.
Goldman with a quick takedown and an escape from Kral. So 2-1 lead for Goldman here early. All kinds of time. But Purdue has clinched the team victory as of that last match, not ending. Goldman working all the bases at the moment, coming off a loss to Nick Tavanello of Ohio State. Did not compete in the Iowa matchup on Friday. He let Fletcher Miller take his place. Coach Goldman made that decision around match time. Were you surprised at all when Goldman announced that he would not be placing his own son in the match at Iowa?
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising, and obviously Coach Goldman wrestled at Iowa, so you would maybe have thought that it meant a little bit more, but they threw Fletcher Miller in there, and it was tough. Iowa was obviously a very tough opponent, and they did not get the victory.
And Fletcher Miller did get pinned by Sam Stoll in 3 minutes and 26 seconds, so it was a pretty unfortunate outing for the Hoosiers across the board as they all fell. But Purdue looking to exploit the little bit of fatigue that Indiana may have after their road trip out to Iowa. But Goldman keeping his own here. On your screen there, Dwayne Goldman, the coach for Indiana. All kinds of history with Indiana, 23rd season. He did wrestle at Iowa, as you mentioned, and so did Purdue's coach. Believe it or not, they are both Iowa grads. And there's all kinds of competition now, of course, between the two schools having a rivalry. But teammates at different times, I suppose you could say. It was a little bit of a time period gap between the two wrestlers at Iowa, but they were both Hawkeyes at one point, but now they're Hoosiers and Boilermakers. So through the first period, it will be a Goldman lead, 2-1, and Kral has the option to choose first, and he will choose down. So Goldman going to start on top, going to work for some back points here in the second period. And as we mentioned before this matchup, Goldman is severely outweighed by Kral, only weighed in at about 227, I believe. 227. And so Kral does have a little bit of weight on Goldman, so an easy escape, as you saw on your screen. But Goldman will need to overcome that weight advantage. So they'll have Kral looking for some underhooks going in. Nothing happening from that, but pressure back on the head. The Indiana coaching staff yelling for underhooks. Goldman struggling to get any kind of movement towards Kral here in neutral, so he will get out of the tie-up and try again.
An interesting little tidbit about Kral is he was actually high school teammates with Hoosier Eric Roach, who we saw a little bit earlier back at Crown Point.
Kral has been fighting Jacob Avon for the starting spot here at 285 all this season. Avon 13-8 so far this season, but has not participated in any dual matches. So Kral has done his fair share in the dual side of things. He's 2-4 in duels, as I mentioned. The redshirt junior. He had an 8-20 record last season, so he has definitely improved this season. Already has as many wins as he did in the entirety of last season, looking to improve and beat his season win total of last year with this one. As we close the second period, now 2-2, and the riding time is pretty much negligible at this point.
Hoosier fans on your feet,
Sitting
make
around
some noise
22
for
seconds
Derek
for
Goldman in the
Goldman.
third period.
So the third period offering up enough time for Kral to get that bonus point in riding time. We'll need to hold on for pretty much the entirety of the period, though. Goldman working on standing up, building a base, trying to break the wrists, and he does, gets the escape. Goldman now in the lead 3-2. Purdue still leading 18-11, so a Purdue victory is inevitable at this point, but the heavyweights still duking it out here in the mat in the third period.
Yeah, even though this one is out of reach for the Indiana Hoosiers, I think Goldman would still like to get a victory over one of his big rivals, Tyler Kral.
And Coach Goldman, of course, wanting his son to perform at a high level, so he will be looking for the victory, as you see Dwayne Goldman in the background and his son Garrett in the foreground. Still working on snap downs at this point, just keeping pressure on the neck for both wrestlers. Goldman looking to hold out just long enough, but it looks like Kral might be taking a little bit more of an offensive standpoint. Still looking for shots. And a snap down went a little bit out of control there, so they'll take a moment and start over in the head-to-head stance. Kral looking to snap down Goldman once again, but no momentum moving in Kral's favor at this point. Goldman's legs too strong for him to completely snap him down from the head. So the third period will come to a close. Garrett Goldman will get the victory